On today's show, we suspected the Clippers were back. And on Tuesday night, I just got some more reassurance that we're back. Going to be telling you why on today's Locked On. That's 5 in a row, Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 21 years, been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper for 6 and 4 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and now the #1 sports podcast network. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube to try to get us up to 8,000 YouTube subscribers before the end of 2021, but with about 90 subscribers still needed to go with the day left, I do not know if we're going to reach that goal, unfortunately, but I know we'll reach it very soon into 2026. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts, and this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Clipper freaking Nation. I'm going to tell you why we're back. Why Kawhi is one of the biggest reasons why we're back. And how about a career night for one of Clipper Nation's own, Yanic Konan Niederhauser. Homegrown, baby. You know, Clipper Nation, we thought after beating the Lakers, after beating the Rockets, and then after beating the Blazers on the road, and then the Pistons, those are some impressive wins. We're back. So you would expect, with the way things are going, and you're playing a struggling Sacramento Kings team that's been one of the bigger disappointments of the season alongside yourselves, and they don't have Zach LaVine, they don't have Domantas Sabonis. I know we don't have Zoo and Bogey, but look at the way we're playing. Let's forget about all that. We got to crush them, and that's exactly what we did. This was the most uncompetitive game that we played this season. It just felt like we were so superior to them in every aspect of the game. Better offensively, have the best two players on the court, better defensively, better three-point shooting, more size, and more effort, playing harder. It wasn't even close. It was a 131-90 win for your LA Clippers. At Intuit Dome. I was in the third row. I'm going to post a video of my POV, and so many fans I asked if, they think we should trade Zoo or not, or trade Kawhi or not, whether it's stock's high. Go check that out in the morning. But man, it was a cool night just to see how confident our team was up close. We look like we're playing strong basketball right now, and confident basketball, the most confident of our season so far. I mean, to win by 41 points, I know the Kings haven't been good this season, but not only are we keeping a team to 90 points, we're scoring 131. We're crushing them as if, hey, we're a good team. We destroy bad teams at home. And there's a lot of things that this comes down to, but, oh man, it's incredible what a couple of wins can do. Everyone's going to point to the Zubats thing. The fact that Zoo got injured and we've been winning ever since he's been gone. I think what it's shown is Brook Lopez benefits James Harden and Kawhi Leonard in some ways that Zoo doesn't. But I think we need a much larger sample size because, it's not like Kawhi Leonard has been playing the exact same way that he was playing before Zoo got hurt. He's undoubtedly playing his best basketball this season right now, and a lot of that was going to change when he got off his minutes restriction. But overall, John Collins is making threes. Chris Dunn isn't gambling on defense as much. Our general effort has just gone up. It's almost like belief has come back into the team. Was Chris Paul the problem? I truly don't know because it didn't take Chris Paul leaving for us to actually win some games. If you want to look at it that way, Zubats is the reason we haven't been winning. But I don't believe in any of that. I think a lot of it starts with Kawhi Leonard, man. But I'm going to save the Kawhi Leonard stuff more for the second segment. I mean, in this game, we were so on top of everything. There was nothing that threatened us on the Kings side at all. We know they can't shoot the ball. In this game, they shot 41% from the field, 33% from three. They did, however, shoot well from the free throw line, 93%, but they only got to the line 14 times. We got to the line 32 times, over twice as many free throw attempts as they did. We did shoot 78%, which isn't great, but 51% from the field for us and 37% from three. I said it for weeks. The 3-point variance and like the law of averages are going to come around a little bit where we're going to start shooting better and teams are just not going to shoot lights out against us. In the Kings case, they're not a good 3-point shooting team. But as I've said so many times this season, there have been things that have been there have been games, I should say, where guys have shot career highs in certain things. Like Bam making all those threes in Miami, that was a career high for him. Cam Spencer having his literal career high with Memphis. It's just been a lot of those moments. So a lot of it was bad luck. I really think luck was eventually going to start going our way, and we're starting to see that. And a lot of it comes down to John Collins, in my opinion. He's playing with a completely renewed sense of life, and it really starts with him knocking down his threes. I think that really gives him more confidence as a player, and you can just see how confident he is on the releases. And then you just start getting a harder working version of John Collins that's more active with his hands, that's running the floor harder, that's attacking the offensive glass. He had 16 points in this game to go along with 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 blocks, and how about my favorite stat of them all, no turnovers for JC in 22 minutes. He was a plus 15, and I'm just really happy to see John Collins finally start to play like the John Collins that we expected going into this season. And I really think that's an under-talked about part of why we've been so disappointing through 32 games. John Collins not playing up to what we expected. When you lose a player like Norman Powell, and then you say, oh, we're going to replace Norman Powell with John Collins and Bradley Beal, and then Bradley Beal gets hurt, it's just John Collins for Norman Powell. And I would definitely take Norman Powell. But John Collins needs to start giving us what we expected from him. And he is starting to make threes, and I think that's really changed the ballgame for him. For him to shoot 66% from the field and 50 from three, I mean, you got to love that. But it really starts with our stars. You know what I'm saying? James Harden has also been playing. I think, honestly, James Harden's been James Harden. Kawhi's just been at a different level, which is easing the load on James Harden and puts him back into the role that, in my opinion, he came. Not even my opinion. It's what he came to be, which is a guy that supports Kawhi Leonard and playmakes, and then is a secondary scorer. And when he came, it was a third scorer behind he and Paul George. But then Paul George in the playoffs, we saw what happened against Dallas. Anyway, by the way, if you're wondering what jersey I'm wearing on the YouTube side, it's Blake freaking Griffin. Shout out to the fan that sent this to me because I never had a Blake Griffin jersey. It's pretty sick. I'm sorry for the audio people. But anyway, yeah, John Collins has been playing much better. James Harden, in my opinion, yeah, as I said, he came to be a supporting guy to Kawhi. And him in this role is, you know, James Harden being your second best player, even at this age, that's huge. 21 points for James, 3 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal on 6 for 14 shooting. Did not shoot great from 3, 1 for 6 from 3. 8 for 10 from the free throw line, led every single player in free throw attempts. He was getting to the line at will, to be honest with you. And then my favorite stat of them all, 0 turnovers for James Harden. Come on. Let's get some claps in the chat or in the comment section for that. 0 turnovers for James Harden. That is going to definitely result in a win, most likely for your team. Chris Dunn. Let's talk about how great he's been defensively lately, not gambling as much, staying solid, moving his feet. And how about the fact that he's really knocking down the 3 ball? 10 points, 6 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals. How about no turnovers? Oh my God, I haven't even seen the box score till right now. We really led by as many as 43 in this game, and we only turned the ball over 4 times. Oh my God. that really honestly makes me want to shed a tear. 4 times. You're going to win an NBA game when you only turn the ball over 4 times. That's the stat of the game right there. I shouldn't even talk about nothing else. I shouldn't even talk about anything else. That's crazy. We outscored them 34-20 after the first quarter, 39-20 in the second quarter. The game was over at halftime. They outscored us 31-27 in the third, and then we outscored them 31-19 in the fourth. The only thing I wasn't a huge fan of was that Kawhi Leonard came in the game to start the fourth quarter when we were already up by 29 points and stayed in till the 7-minute and 18-second mark. So he played like 5 minutes. I guess that was just, to keep him in rhythm and to get him more used to that workload, because he would have been at 28 minutes. Maybe he wants to just get used to playing 30 plus minutes. I don't know. I'm not mad at it as long as he doesn't get hurt. That's all I care about. But yeah, speaking of Kawhi Leonard, we're going to be talking about his performance coming up. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Opening the FanDuel app during happy hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. All right. The Clippers win it 131-90. And thank you for making Locked On Clippers your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, check out our new Everydayer Club. It gives you access to an ad-free audio feed, so no ads, for Locked On Clips, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. And it gives you an invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of this show. All you got to do is go to lockedonclippers.supercast.com. All right, 131-90. The Clippers have now won 5 straight games. Obviously, our longest winning streak of the season. We're 11-21 on the season and 7-8 at Intuit. So we're starting to get that home record looking respectable again. Of course, last season Intuit Dome was quite the fortress. We need to get it back to that level, but I honestly don't feel as though the sound. I mean, of course, opening night last season was definitely more hype than this season because it was the first ever game on. It was the first ever game in our arena. But the atmosphere, I don't think, has changed. And this game looked like it was a sellout, and it is listed as a sellout on ESPN. So it felt like all the seats were sold tonight. Or Tuesday night. It really felt like that. So yeah, the Clippers, we outscored them in 3 out of 4 quarters. We held them to 20, 20, and 19 points in 3 different quarters. 20 points in each of the first 2 quarters. The defense has really changed. Of course, the Sacramento Kings, I mean, they're not the best team in the league. They're 28th in defensive rating, and in offensive rating, they're 29th as well. Jesus. Yeah, they're pretty bad, But we took out the trash, you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because the Kings have some great fans up north. But, it is what it is, man. I don't feel bad for anyone. I'm a Clipper fan, dude. Anyway, Kawhi Leonard. He's been that guy again. He's been that machine again that makes every shot he takes. It's kind of nuts. I mean, seeing it up close. I was in the 3rd row. He's just pretty effortless when he's playing against like average to. I feel so mean because I really like some players in the Kings. I mean, DeRozan, he's Compton, USC, he's kind of a legend out here. Westbrook, come on, one of my favorites. Even Zach LaVine, UCLA one and done. But it's just, and there's some great fans. But unfortunately, they just don't really have very good defenders on this team. And seeing Kawhi Leonard play against like decent to poor NBA defenders and just like how easy it looks for him to just shoot turnaround shots and get to his spots effortlessly. He really isn't. He's really become an incredible shooter of the basketball. And it's kind of amazing considering what we remember him in San Antonio when he first started. It honestly is insane, to really a testament to the work he puts in. 33 points in 33 minutes, 5 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, just 1 turnover on 11 for 19 shooting, 5 for 9 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. He was a plus 31. I mean, it's looking like, that guy that's top 10 in the league right now. I mean, the shot making, the leash is off. You know what I'm saying? The limits are off with the minutes restriction, and it's really letting us get Kawhi. And of course, if you're wondering why don't you sound more excited? I really just try not to get too excited when it comes to Kawhi because his health. I'm just enjoying it one game at a time, and we see where it goes. But yeah, I mean, it was incredible. Just how effortless it was and how well he's playing right now. And that changes the whole, complexion of your team, to be honest with you. When your best player is off a minutes restriction and is being aggressive and it just looks like he has his legs underneath him a lot more, and he just looks more spry. And here's the thing about Kawhi. I talked about it last game. He's not going to play with that kind of like bounce and shiftiness every game. Those are special kind of nights where you could just see the way that he's moving. And after all these years of being on the Clippers, I can tell when he's moving shifty, he's bouncing with his dribble like that and just pounding the hell out of it. I'm like, oh my God. But those are rare nights. That's when he's in the zone. But he just overall, like you look at this game against the Kings, he just looked better than he did, pre-minutes restriction. And even in the beginning of the season, he looks the freshest he's looked since obviously last season. So, I don't know. Let the good times roll when it comes to Kawhi. Just let him keep going, and hopefully he stays healthy. That's all I can really say. It just changes everything. I'm not going to lie. Like, it just really changes everything when your best player is playing like this. And this is why I always say it's a stars league. Like, we can talk about John Collins. Yeah, he is a huge difference maker. But James has been James. Brook Lopez. Let's talk about Brook Lopez. He was 2 for 9 from the field in this game, but he was 2 for 4 from 3. Made both his free throws, had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and 1 turnover in 23 minutes of play. And this is the thing about Brook Lopez. Even with the fact that he shot 2 for 9, his threat of just being on the outside, of being a pick and pop big that's been shooting well lately, that is a threat. That opens up the floor a little bit more for Kawhi and James. And when they beat their defender, there's not necessarily a guy at the dunker spot, which sometimes makes it easier for them to get a wide open layup because that rotation, that help defense has to come from further distance, or you can kick it out and get more threes up, which is something that we've been trying to do. And obviously, you've heard Kawhi Leonard talk about, that we need to get more threes up and he needs to get more threes up. And he's clearly doing that. And I have no problem with it when he's making shots at this level. And I don't think he took one bad shot the entire game, truthfully. Brook Lopez, you got to give him credit for just being serviceable. I don't subscribe to the notion that we're better without Ivica Zubac because of a couple of games with Brook Lopez spacing the floor. I think, as I said, it helps us in some ways, but I think you throw this Kawhi Leonard with Zoo, or an even better team. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right. Some people might say, dude, you have no evidence. We've been playing 4.5 games. Yeah, I'm going back to a previous season, but I still think Zubac is very important for this team long term. But, I got to give Brook Lopez a lot of credit. He's been very serviceable, and I'm a Brook Lopez fan, and I'm happy to see him do something like this. So our whole starting lineup was honestly fantastic, in my opinion. And Nico, you know, it's fun. He's a very entertaining player to watch from up close because he's he shows he's I don't know how to find the words, but he's very expressive with his emotions and he's playing and he's very animated, more animated than you would think. Like he was imitating Dennis Schroeder flopping. It was really funny. He was going back and forth with Maxime Reynaud about I forget what call it was, but he was having a good time, man. And it's just cool to see that. It's cool to see a player have fun playing, especially after the amount of years that he's been in the game. And Nico is Nico. He's always just going to help you win games. 3 points, 1 board, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers, 1 for 3 from the field. And of course, all his shots were threes. He was a plus 24 in his 19 minutes. I mean, come on. We'll take Nico on our team all day long. And how about DJ? It was really funny seeing DJ. He was actually talking to the ref so much. He's like, how is that not a foul? When are you going to call a foul? It was really funny, man. He had 8 points. 8 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, no turnovers on 3 for 5 shooting, and 1 for 1 from 3, and made his only free throw. At this point, I would not change the starting lineup. I would keep Derek coming off the bench and just increase his minutes. But he looked a lot more like himself in this game, and it's going to continue to look good for Derek. Knocking down his open 3, attacking the rim. He was getting up super high. And speaking of getting up super high, we've got to talk a little bit about our young guys, especially Yanic. I got to tell you a little something about game time. You see, during basketball season, there's nothing like being in the building. The energy, the crowd, that first big run that gets everyone on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are really going to cost. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps. Seeing the view from your seat before buying makes choosing tickets easy and confident. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get in on the action. All right. The Clippers win it 131-90, make it 5 straight wins. And we had some solid performances, first starting with Jordan Miller. And our rotation in this game was 9 deep with Nico, DJ, Kobe Sanders, and Yanic. No Bogey, of course. No Zoo, of course. No Bradley Beal, of course. And sadly, no CP3. But CP3, you never know. I mean, the vibes thing is real. I do believe in vibes. Now, Kobe Sanders, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 4 dimes, 2 steals, and no turnovers. He did shoot 3 for 8 from the field and 0 for 3 from deep, but he was a plus 30 in his 26 minutes. Kobe Sanders, in my opinion, is starting to look more comfortable, and he hit 2 legit, tough shots in this game where you're like, you know what? Maybe he does deserve that name. He had a turnaround over the left shoulder. Now, obviously, come on, I'm not making comparisons, but the shots were Kobe-esque. Turnaround over the left shoulder, pull up going right. It was nice to beat the clock in the first half. I was impressed, to be honest with you, and he's defensively getting better as well. And when you see him up close, man, he is much bigger than a lot of these guards. He's a big dude. Long. So I'm really happy to see it. Just to see a young player playing positive minutes in the rotation. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. And speaking of young players playing positive minutes in the rotation, career night for Yanic. And I've been talking about Yanic since Summer League, and we saw him up close. This guy, I think we actually did a good job picking this guy. He's got a lot of athleticism. He's got a lot of energy. He can block shots. He's running the floor hard, really hard, much faster than Zoo or Brook Lopez, crashing the offensive glass. I mean, we got a player in him. That alley-oop that he caught, oh my God, that got me so hyped. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and a turnover. And he's altered a lot of shots in drop coverage, shot 6 for 8 from the field. He did shoot a 3, but it looked good, missed it. And I know I've been saying that a lot in terms of guys like him, Cam Christie, like their form looks good. I know eventually they got to make shots, but man, it was so encouraging to see the amount of shots he was able to change, the amount of rebounds he was able to get, and just how hard he was running the floor. There was one move where he like ripped through and then finished with his left hand on the right side. And I was like, what? He is good. And I'm just really happy that we have him on this team. And I really hope we keep him long term. But yeah, I mean, right now the Clippers are playing some good ball. I think the play-in hunt is very much on. There's 50 games still left to play. We got the Utah Jazz coming to town on New Year's Day. I'll be in the building. We have a score to settle with the Utah Jazz after what happened on opening night. And I hope we kick them all over the Intuit Dome because it's not that home court that has always been so tough to play against. We got to get the job done against them. 12-21 and keep it rolling. Now, looking at some stats, I want to see if our defensive rating has changed a little bit. Oh, we're up to 22. Okay. Things are starting to change. Let's get into that top 20. Let's get into that top 20, and then we're going to start making some moves. In terms of offensive rating, we're up to 11th? Wow. We're 11th in offensive rating right now? That's insane. Oh, my God. So, we did say, when I was talking this offseason, I said we're going to, with the additions of John Collins and Bradley Beal and Chris Paul, we'd get better offensively, but worse defensively. But can't even use that because these guys haven't played. But we have Kawhi Leonard for the majority of the season. That could make us better offensively. But anyway, that's great to see. Moving up to 11th in offensive rating on the season. And then 22nd in defensive rating. We'll get that number up. And of course, I do think, if I would still be making calls, what would people's take? Zoo, Harden, Kawhi, what's on the market? I'm still taking calls. But the team is playing very well right now, and that's good to see as a Clipper fan. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where a vlog of this game experience will be out. And of course, Locked On Clippers, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where, hey man, we might not get to 8,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, but let's get to 8,000 subscribers ASAP because we need to catch Locked On Thunder. If they beat us in that trade, we need to at least beat them in Locked On YouTube subscribers. You can, of course, listen to Locked On Clippers wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to sign up for the Everydayer Club and subscribe and do whatever you can to, keep up. Because right now it's a good time to be a Clipper fan in terms of the winning streak that we're on and also just, I don't know. I was having a moment looking at Intuit Dome, end of the year, last game of 2025, emotional year for me. And I don't know, it was pretty special just to look at what Intuit Dome is. A stadium for Clipper fans, a stadium that really feels like home. And, I loved Staples Center. That was the place that brought me the joy and the love of watching live NBA games. And I remember thinking that, man, I'm never going to want to be a season ticket holder, though, for the NBA because there's just too many games. And Clipper games just don't have enough intensity to them for me to cop season tickets. In the regular season, I was like, it's just not hype. Like, I'm the only one yelling defense. I'm the only one, in the crowd that gives a shit. So, like, excuse my language. And then when the 2021-22 season came around and I was post college and could drive myself to games, the prices were I started seeing our attendance in the beginning of the season, and I was actually getting worried. I was like, "Oh my god, this is depressing." And we just came off a conference finals win. Like, and I went on StubHub and I was getting tickets for like under $30 every single game. It's to sit in Premier, to sit in the lower bowl every single time. And so I was going with a friend and I was like, "Damn, if we're not great right now, or if our attendance isn't great right now and I'm not going, who's going?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta go support the guys. And also, at the time, I didn't have nearly as many obligations as I do now. I was kind of fresh out of college and it was COVID. So it was really hard for me to kind of find my footing. I didn't even have the locked on job at the time. So that's when I started like going more consistently to games, where I went to like 20 plus that season. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to go to games and vlog them, and that's gonna be part of my content. And then it in 2023-24, they introduced the deal that was going to be like the precursor to the swell in section 207 at Staples Center. And when I heard about the deal, I was like, oh my God, like I have to take that. Like I can afford that right now. Like in my fresh out of college days, like, yeah, we're doing that. And so then from that point forward, it's felt really regular. And the fact that I'm a season ticket holder of the Clippers at age 27, and it's not that expensive. Like, it says nothing about me financially, in my opinion. It's more about how accessible it is for the fans, and have our own home like this. Like, it really is a dream come true. I can't lie. So I'm appreciative regardless if we're 0-82 or 56-26, like, if we're being honest. But yeah, it's nice to see the squad playing with this kind of confidence. And you know what? Kawhi Leonard, when he's playing well, I mean, he's really special to watch. And I'm not just saying that to, pander. I really do love his game. My criticisms with Kawhi Leonard are never basketball related, really. So I want to keep emphasizing that. It's just, you just never know with his health. And that's what scares me a lot. But right now he's healthy and I'm very happy, and like just happy to see him play at this level, of course. It's unbelievable, and it's good for the Clippers to win games. And, after all the injuries he's been through, he deserves it. 131-90. Next game, Utah Jazz. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.